Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nick Davenport, aka Mr. Mental Muscle, and today is Mental Muscle Monday. Now, I want to talk about money. Well, more specifically, money and happiness. Now, a lot of people say, oh, money doesn't make you happy, and there's rich people who are depressed. This is very true. And there's also poor people that may be living good and feeling well. That's also maybe true. But let's look at what happiness truly means. And maybe is there a certain amount of money to give you happiness? Let's look into that. Now, when it comes to psychology, we want to operation define what we're talking about. So the term happiness is very general. Usually, when you say what makes you happy, it's referring to what makes us feel good in a moment. And that moment is often fleeting. You know, that dopamine release, that oxytocin feeling of feeling good, like I did something rewarding. That's great, but it comes and goes. So let's define happiness more so with the term life satisfaction. So this is more concrete because it puts into perspective of what are you doing with your life and are you fulfilled in what you're trying to accomplish versus, oh, do I feel good right now or in this moment? So life satisfaction is what we're going to look at. So there actually has been research on this topic, and that number of what makes happiness or life satisfaction, they actually found a number. Now, in America, we'll use the number $75,000. That's the number they came up with. Now, when you think about that, you're like, is that a lot of money? You're not going to think about the Forbes list when you hear the term $75,000. Now, in perspective, if you know the American average income is about $38,000, and the median income is about $51,000. So looking at those two numbers, it's 20,000 more than the highest and almost 40,000 over the lowest. So that's not that bad. But typically people think of six figures over 100,000, and depending where you live, that can go very far. And depending where you live, it might not. But the point of that number wasn't necessarily to say you need to be rich like a millionaire, because most people might have guessed, oh, $1 million. I've actually asked this question to my classes when I teach, and I've heard some high numbers such as 7 million, 20 million, even a billion. But when they hear that it's only 75,000, they're shocked because we have this grandiose idea of what success and what life should be. Granted, $1 million could be great, but is that going to make you happy? Or in this case, like I said, life satisfaction? Now, that 75,000 number is important because most of your basic needs will be able to be met. Now, this is granted if you're a single person living on your own. Obviously, you have family, multiple kids, that number is going to be skewed. But let's look at it for a single person living on their own. 75,000 can pay for lodging, can pay for food, it can pay for a car, and still have money to have some fun and do leisurely activities. Now, after 75,000, they saw no significant change in life satisfaction. And this is mostly because after that point, what was really being needed and what they found was something called social fitness. This is more important than money, income, status, because what social fitness describes different aspects of your social life, whether it be your social circle, how do you adapt to stressors, how you go about interacting with your environment, whether it be school, work, love life. So when you had a higher level of social fitness, how you integrate with these different parts of your social life, it showed higher satisfaction because these are the things that really make us go. Think about it. If you've ever had a tough time, who are you talking to? A loved one, a friend, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband. So having that around you will be important because granted, money is great, but you can't talk to your money for problems. And usually the problems come from the money. So that's why it's important, because a lot of people look at it as like, well, if I had $1 million, I'd rather cry in a Lamborghini than cry in a broke down Honda Civic. But at the end of the day, what truly matters, and I don't want to be cliche, because obviously money is important. You need to be able to survive. And with inflation, especially in America, that might be hard. But the main takeaway is your life satisfaction is first and foremost dictated on how you perceive that, but also the people around you. How do you interact with the world? How do you socialize? How do you adapt to the different environments? Because that's going to facilitate how well you go to your day to day. Because regardless of how much money you have, that's what's going to be surrounding you the most. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And as always, get your mind right.